Hi, my name is Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation, and the topic here is really interesting. If you've been following me, you know our approach to marriage is so different, and you should definitely be a subscriber. But this topic is, can a relationship work with a language barrier? Interesting, because I used to be a divorce mediator, and so communication was my thing. I had to help couples distribute assets and come to agreements. So I'm all about communication. And this one is about language. And I can tell you that even people who speak the same language have language barriers, because we perceive things, each of us, in a very unique way. We have free will. And having used that free will, we have determined whether purple is a beautiful color or an ugly color, for instance. And so how we react to outer things is a decision that we make. This is the power of free will. It isn't just like everyone is affected by things the same way. I've been doing this for a long time, over 20 years, and I used to meet sometimes with couples or individuals, I meant to say individuals who are seeking their soulmate. And one lady surprised me. She said, it's really important to me that my husband-to-be has a thick neck. I never heard that before. And my first reaction was a little chuckle, and then I checked myself, and I corrected myself, and even punished myself a little, because who am I to judge that? Everyone sees things how they see things, and it's perfect. It's perfect. We're not the ones who get to judge. And a language barrier already exists, is what the point I'm trying to make, even between those who speak fluent whatever. French couple, French, German, German. And so if there is a language barrier, it's not an indication that that is the problem. It's literally an indication that there's other problems, which is not hard to comprehend, because in our world we don't know how to be married. We don't learn. We don't even learn much about ourselves. For instance, we don't learn that we're souls. This is not a religious discussion. But if you ask somebody, what's a soul? And they say, well, I think I have a soul. Most people who are even quasi-religious or quasi-have faith believe they have souls. And guess what? That's wrong. It is incorrect. Correctly, and this is even ministers. I know many, many, many ministers and pastors, rabbis, and priests, they get it wrong. And when you press them on what they mean, they still get it wrong, because we're not taught. But what is truth is that we don't have a soul. We are a soul. You are a soul, and what you have, what you possess, is a body. Now you can easily agree with that. And you also have a mind. And this is where it gets dicey, because what we've been trained to accept, without it coming out in so many words, is that we are the mind. That is what perceives everything, and that is therefore what we are. And this is the whole world of Western psychology. But the truth of the matter is, you possess a mind. The free will is not part of your mind, it's part of you. And if you don't want to do the spiritual thing, you go, you, the consciousness, have a mind. I'll go further. You are supposed to master your mind. You're not supposed to let it tell you what to do. Your free will is so powerful that you literally have the ability to choose to love the person you're with, regardless of any language barrier, regardless of any cultural issues, regardless of so many things that most people allow to get in the way of their soul connection. The soulmate connection is what marriage is all about. Love and joy. But we get trapped into thinking that these other things can impose upon us, and they cannot when we choose. And so that's what you are supposed to do. You're supposed to see the quote-unquote language, because I assume what you're talking about is one of you speaks one language, like Italian, and the other speaks Slovakian or whatever, and you're going, hey, we run into all these problems. That isn't where the problems are being run into. It isn't the language. You could laugh those off. The problems are much different. And I don't want to use deeper because it's really not deeper. What's supposed to be deeper is your relationship. It's supposed to be a spiritual, because love is spiritual, relationship based on your connection as soulmates. I describe marriage as a spiritual path that two people are individually taking together, because the goals are love and joy. What could be more spiritual? The Western psychologists, and I'm not putting down Western psychologists, these are good people who wanted to help people, but they've been mistrained. And they call love and joy abstract. Or they'll refer to joy as maybe increased happiness, but it's not that. There is happiness caused by external things, but it's not the joy that we seek in marriage, is it? And love, they describe as an abstract thought, increased like. No, it's very, very different. It's very deep. You've experienced it. You've experienced with your wife or your husband, and you've experienced literally at every marriage that you go to. And the vows are being given. I love using this example because it never fails. And there's a moment when all of a sudden you're overwhelmed. Tears might even flow down from your eyes, and you're overwhelmed with love. That's the real love. Or when you found your soulmate and you had this hit of, wow, I really love them. It's like, wow, it so transcends the normal stuff. And that's where your marriage is supposed to be lived, not on the plane of language. Okay? You get it? So right now we're starting to train. Hopefully you're a subscriber. If not, then you should become one. We're starting to train people. We're going to start to train people to become TMF marriage counselors. That's all we do is marriage, by the way. We are not therapists. We don't go there. If someone has PTSD, we can't help. We do marriage counseling because basically I used to be a divorce mediator, and I discovered the whole world of marriage is worse than useless. It's destructive. No one understands marriage. I had to do a lot to discover it myself. And then I came up with sure ways of turning marriages around. And so we're starting to train those. Now, if you're a psychologist already and you're doing couples counseling, you're very vital for us because our way will work. Your way doesn't work, I'm sorry to say, and you know it, or you wouldn't even be here. But our stuff works because it's very scientific. It's oriented around what marriage actually is, cause and effect. We use highly appreciated principles that are universal. So look into that if you have an interest. We're interested in you. Other than that, I appreciate your coming by. I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. God bless you, and thank you, and take care.